So I'm Giuseppe Giordano. I'm a director at the Accenture Labs, which is the R&D organization within Accenture. I'm based in Milan. My team is in Sophia Antipolis in the south of France, where we have one of our European labs. And over the last 6 to 7 years, my focus has been around PETs, and in particular, confidential computing.
Wonderful. And I'm Marshall Kirkpatrick. Thanks so much for taking this time to talk with us. So can you begin by telling us from your perspective about the problem being solved here? What kinds of security and privacy issues are holding organizations back that are being solved by confidential computing?
Yeah. So there are three main families of use cases we are dealing with. The first one is single organization wanting to migrate to the cloud. And the risk is with sensitive workloads to bring them to the public cloud, potentially giving exposure to the cloud operators or other users that are authorized to access that cloud. The second one is multi-party type of use cases, multi-party collaboration. I think all organizations have now realized that there is value in data sharing and collaboration, but of course, when it comes to sensitive data and sensitive workloads, things become a bit more complex, right? And confidential computing looks to be the solution to enable this collaboration and help those companies extract the value that they couldn't create on their own with the data and the models that they have. And the third one is about IP and model protection, especially for edge type of use cases. Typical example is predictive maintenance models running in the cloud and having to send the data from prem to the cloud in order to access those predictive maintenance use cases. Depending on the data, this can be very difficult to extract the data from a data center, from a sensitive location. And we are trying to use confidential computing basically to move the model instead of the data. We move the model towards the edge so that the inference is done locally at the edge and the data stay local. So that on one side we protect the model, on the other side we protect the model that don't move towards the cloud.
What can you tell us about what are the positive business outcomes and what's newly technically possible once these problems are solved?
Yeah, especially in Europe with all the sovereign cloud and the upcoming regulations, we are seeing much more importance being put on topics like you have to guarantee the location of the data, you have to guarantee access to the data, and who has access to the data, as well as what type of processing. So confidential computing is definitely a fantastic technology because it allows to protect the data in memory while in use, not only at rest and in transit. But more than that, I strongly believe that, especially from a regulatory standpoint, the power of the attestation mechanism is something quite unique. The ability to use attestations not only to attest the hardware environments, but also the code that deals with your sensitive data is crucial. And that will help ease compliance with the upcoming regulations and mitigate the risks that are coming for our clients.
Fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about your history of collaboration with Opaque? We're here at the Confidential Computing Summit hosted by Opaque Systems.
I mean, given my role at the Accenture Labs, I keep scanning the market. I look at new technologies, and when we identify promising technology, we start scanning the market for the most promising technologies and the partners that we want to bring together with us at our clients. With Opaque, we started with a very small proof of concept 1 year ago to demonstrate the value of confidential computing and confidential workspaces. After that proof of concept, the client really got engaged. Now we are in a second phase where we are delivering a more complex product that will allow this customer to build a platform where they can bring in multiple participants, each of them coming in with their sensitive workloads. And I think the real value beyond the technology that we found with and in Opaque is the ability to move the discussion from a pure technical discussion to a value-driven discussion, to a business-driven discussion. Because most of the complexity that is within confidential computing is completely abstracted away. And with Opaque, you can really focus on the value and in solving your client challenges.
Wonderful. So here at the conference, I heard you speak about one of the perhaps unexpected benefits of multi-party inference and processing of data, specifically, as I understood it, discovering novel fields of metadata and features of related data sets that one organization gains access to when they begin collaborating in a safe way with other organizations. Can you, that sounds really, really interesting and exciting. Can you
Indeed.
speak to that?
Yes. When you set up one of these multi-party confidential workspaces, normally you have two options, right? One option is that each of the participants comes with the same data set that has the same structure across all the participants, so the same attributes, right? Maybe different sizes of the data sets, but the structure is standard. All of them share the same attributes. In these cases, you are building a bigger data set, but you are not adding features or attributes that you didn't have on your own. That's the typical one when you want to, train a model and you simply need more data that other participants may bring in the confidential workspace. Another use case that we are looking at is the idea that each of the participants comes with a data set that doesn't necessarily have the same structure as of the others. So some come with some specific attributes, some others come with some other attributes. And this really unlocks some additional value because this puts you in a position to discover patterns, to discover information by querying these bigger data sets that suddenly is much more exhaustive and complete than what you would have had on your own, right? So the idea is that I come in with a few attributes and then suddenly I find 15 other attributes of the same data set that have been shared by others, and I can unlock much more intelligence that would have been impossible on my own.
I wonder if you could explain to us one of the other examples that you brought up, and that was around prompt sanitization in the context of confidential computing. Why is that important, and what does that look like? What does it make possible?
Yeah, no, indeed. I think this morning and also throughout the other panels, we spoke about LLMs and, of course, inferencing. And indeed, one of the risks, especially when you use third-party models, is to give away IP or too much knowledge or too much information about your own organization by simply prompting those third-party LLMs, right? So the idea is to start using confidential computing and encryption techniques in order for you to sanitize or keep the prompt encrypted while basically using those models in order to extract the knowledge that you are looking for. That way you are getting the value that you are looking from the model itself, but you are not putting yourself at risk because none of your sensitive information is ever exposed to the model that is going to serve your answer.
Fantastic. So I want to conclude by asking you a big picture. Where do you feel like the industry is going, and where do you think it's important that it does go?
I think technology is there. There are advancements that need to be made in terms of technology, but I think really the switching point we are at is indeed start talking use cases, start talking about value, and not only about technologies. Especially with the decision makers and the business owners. I think we are at the point where confidential computing needs to be completely ubiquitous, completely pervasive. I'm pretty confident that there will be a moment where confidential computing will be enabled by definition. Computing will be confidential without us having to know that the data is protected while in use. And I'm hoping to get there hopefully soon in the next year or so.